Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Fantasycraft: The Last City. As always, this stream is presented by You Don't Meet in an Inn, an actual play podcast about exploring obscure tabletop role playing games with a diverse, rotating cast. I am your host and GM for this evening. My name is Austin. I use he, him pronouns, and you can find me on Twitter at NotAnIn. This evening, I am joined by Christine.
Hi, I'm Christine Blight. I'm the creator of the You Don't Meet an Inn podcast, and I'm not really found online due to social anxiety. And today I'm going to be playing Dorothy, the unborn mage, and I use she, they pronouns.
Thank you. Also with us is Sasha.
Hi, I'm Sasha. My pronouns are NNs. I'll be playing the tree person who does cool things. You can find me on Twitter at Sasha_Renault. You can find all my game dev stuff at Tgeppage.
Thank you. And last but never least, we have Hadrian.
I'm the most. What's up? It's your boy Hadrian. Catch me on them Twitters at Hadrian. He, him pronouns, and I'll be playing Viper, the martial artist.
Nice. Okay, so it's been a while since we played due to various reasons. But last we left our heroes, y'all had just busted the dean of the university along with one of the university's professors and a bunch of security guards slash grad students. And the reason you busted them is because they had been maintaining a spark secreted away in a hidden room in the university for purposes unknown, and your investigations have led you to connect this spark down here with the one that attacked the Giants delegation. So, the Coast Guard have rounded up the 8 individuals that you put under arrest, we'll say, and they are all being held at the keep. Where do y'all want to be?
Launch is a strong question. I think the plan was to go to the keep and then talk to the people there about what we'd found.
Yeah,
I think.
that's a fair start. I just wasn't sure if you wanted to go and, like, I don't know, get a snack or something in character. um,
Come with us, criminals. We're getting brunch.
yeah. Okay, I'm going to take us over to the play screen because we are going to get right on into this. If I could get a notice roll from everyone, that'd be grand.
Oh, hell yeah.
Fantastic.
Starting strong.
That's a 6.
15?
11.
Oh, I guess I should also roll for Foxglove because we leveled up last session, and now I can talk to rats. So, what do you? Sorry,
Well,
what do you?
Christine, Dorothy's already succeeded with the highest value.
Okay.
So, yeah. V, you don't pick up on any of what is about to transpire, but as the 3 of you, along with the Coast Guard escort that you have, and the prisoners are moving from the university to the keep, which is not far. If you look at the map, the district marked 1 is the inner campus where you were, and the district marked 3 is the keep.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, it is a short jaunt from university to police headquarters. Now, what you notice, Viper, and Dorothy, you notice this as well, is that there's definitely like some tension running through the crowds that you're passing by, and it doesn't seem to have anything to do with the fact that you've got the dean in manacles. You can pick up like bits of conversations which lead you to believe that there is some kind of disquiet going on in the merchants quarter, which is District 5 on the map, on the other side of the river.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that you're able to pick up anything else just from listening in, from eavesdropping. Dorothy, on the other hand, you are able to pick up 2 pieces of information that are related to the tensions. And that is that it has come to light that the people of the merchant quarter, which, as a reminder, is where most of the wealthy people within the city live, along with like the artisans and the guild members, obviously the merchants and any nobles who have townhouses. It's also where the Giants delegation is. You learned that the people there have been getting gouged for the price of coal. There's not a whole lot of communication, let's say, between the people living outside of the walls and the people living inside of the walls, because those outside of the walls are primarily refugees who came to Enclave after, not after the blockade, obviously, but after everything had really fallen apart and just shortly before the blockade was enacted. So they're living poor lives out there, and apparently the Dirtfolk Guild has been charging them way less than what they've been charging inside the walls. So there's definitely some concern about that. It sounds like some people are organizing something over in the Merchants Quarter about this. The other piece of information you learn is that there are rumors that there are sparked in the Merchants Quarter. No one knows anything for sure. Some people are whispering that it's tied to the Giants' embassy.
I don't know what would give them that impression.
So there's rumors running amok, and people are tense. And unless anyone wants to do anything while you are being escorted to the keep, we'll just cut to there. So, have any of you been to the keep before or inside of its outer walls?
Probably not. No.
Yeah.
Is it a place that invites visitors?
I mean, most of the visitors come in handcuffs or in uniform.
Do people who come in handcuffs often come out?
I would say not often. I think that this is, like, the keep is not a prison, right? Like, it certainly has cells to hold people, even for, like, years, if necessary, but it's not, like, a modern prison system. If you've done a crime, you're gonna get the penalty and then released again.
Or not.
Or not.
I think Madame V has been here before.
Mm-hmm. On what occasion?
I think she's been arrested before.
Hell yeah.
For what?
A lady doesn't say.
Hell yeah.
For causing a commotion in public for being too stunning.
Probably.
Being a disturbance, a public nuisance.
Oh, definitely a public nuisance. Whatever.
Okay.
I've never been here in this body.
Ah. All right.
The hell of an answer.
So the keep itself is a massive fortification that is very old. It probably there's like the old keep and the new keep, and when people say the new keep, they just mean like the extension that was built onto the old keep. The new keep, both structures predate the blockade and the Sparked. The old keep, though, has been here since the university was founded, because this whole city was founded as a like place where researchers, whether arcane or scientific, could be doing their work out from under the thumb of national rulers. And the keep and its inhabitants were put here to ensure that they maintained that neutrality. So, in days past, it was a hot spot for military intrigue, as it was staffed by soldiers from various nations, not just from Enclave. But these days, they're pretty unified in the face of the apocalypse. So this big old building, hard edges, heavy stone, arrow slits, murder holes, it is designed to withstand a siege. And it is as imposing as the blockade along the shores. You're brought in through the front door and led along to the cells where your suspects are shoved in. All of the guards go into one of them, the dean goes into one, and the professor joins her. Excuse me. These cells are just like one cot, a commode, and bars out to the hallway. They're very simple. As I said, this whole space is not really meant to keep people for an extended period. And the sergeant at arms who was leading your escort, a human woman, probably like 5'6", pretty strongly built, red hair, dark skin. She says, "Is there anything else you need? We've been requested to go to the merchant's quarter, and if there's nothing pressing here, I'd like to take my soldiers and head there as soon as possible."
Did we have anything else? I feel in my heart, I feel like we did.
I mean, if they're just giving us sort of carte blanche with the prisoners, are we the authority here?
Hang on. Are we the baddies?
Oh, did y'all not realize you're cops?
Oh, Dorothy realizes.
No, we know. Got these shiny badges. We're good.
Dorothy's probably the only one that's like kind of okay with it, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we could being able to talk to them more would be useful. I don't know that we need a full guard to do that. Other than the fact that there's a Sparked still in the basement of that place, which I think they know.
She nods and she says, yes, last I heard, the commander is there trying to decide how to deal with it. My guess is that it will involve a lot of crossbows.
That would do the trick, I think.
Oh, Larry.
If you need the key to the cells, the desk guard will have them. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave.
Thanks very much.
She nods and she heads away with her squad to go to the merchant's quarter.
That should be interesting.
How do we want to approach this?
It's a fine question.
Little strange that they're leaving a matter of public safety, like critical public safety, up to a couple of actors, but I can roll with this.
Yeah, Viper's kind of flummoxed. She's like, honestly, I was expecting the commander to be here.
Yeah. Oh well.
I think
So
you,
while we're huddling, I tried the bad cop thing previously.
Do you want to try the good cop thing?
I think I'd be more comfortable being the good cop, Dorothy.
Okay. We can always try again. It's a new location. Maybe you can get in the role a little more.
Yeah, the ambiance is certainly better set.
Do you need some exercises?
I'm sure we'll be much more comfortable.
speaking of ambiance,
Yes.
something I forgot to mention is that, except for the lanterns that you three have, this hallway is dark. There's barely any light coming in through the minuscule windows in these cells, and similarly, when you were on your way in, V, this is not something you noticed because of that previous notice roll, but Viper and Dorothy, both of you can tell that the Keep's staff are somewhat in disarray between the whatever's going on in the merchant's quarter and the commander ordering people around and requisitioning equipment to deal with the sparked in the university basement, including keeping that space under quarantine. It seems like they are spread a bit thin here. Everyone is moving around much faster than in a bit, not a panic per se, but definitely everyone's hustling to keep up with the needs.
So did we do any paperwork to check these prisoners in yet?
Oh, absolutely not. It probably slipped the sergeant's mind. I mean, if you want, there's the desk guard nearby, just beyond
No,
the heavy
that's
door.
fine. I'd prefer to not have a paper trail at this point.
Is the dean, what species are they?
Dean Grussasai, she's an Iguanian, and the professor, Finn Emmos, she's an elf.
So the dean's probably really feeling the conditions right now. You didn't mention any braziers.
Oh, she has her brazier. Yeah.
That's a weapon. Confiscate that.
Only in Madame V's hands.
I mean, if you want to have confiscated it, I will allow it.
Yes, so that we can give it back to her. Give her human rights as a means of, playing nice.
Amazing.
Hmm.
Okay, well, I'm going to just immediately go get the keys.
Okay.
All right. So you go and get the keys off of the desk guard, who's just like, "Oh yeah, Sergeant Mantha said that you might need these. Here you go," and just gives you this ring of big old keys.
Yeah, thanks, bud.
No problem. If you need anything, just come and ask.
We'll holler.
Just, make it clear that you're hollering for some assistance and not, someone else hollering.
You'll know.
Oh, okay.
My concerns have ramped up from 1 to several.
Okay, I'm gonna unlock the dean's cell and just leave the door open.
Okay.
Maybe even step in.
Well,
If there's room to step in, I don't know.
so the ceilings here are definitely high enough that you two root walkers can, stand up, but it's cramped and you're kind of stooped. You'd probably be more comfortable sitting. You can get into the cell.
Can I fit?
Yeah, not between the bars, as a note.
No, that's actually a very important note. Thank you.
Okay, so Viper, you open the cell and step inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I've let my weapons are outside the cell, just leaned against the wall.
Okay. And Dorothy, you're slipping into between Viper's legs, essentially.
Yeah, sure.
All right. As the two of you enter, the dean takes a step back, and she says, "What are you? What is it?"
I'll hold all 4 of my hands up. Like, look. This is a shitty situation for all of us. I know I got off on the wrong foot earlier, but we've been under a lot of pressure. We have 2 sparked corpses in our house, and we don't know what to do with them or where the spark came from that caused it. All we want are answers.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think I should speak to my solicitor.
So we're not cops, so you don't have those rights?
Oh my god.
I think Professor Emos is just like, Gruss, what do they mean they're not cops? They arrested us.
This is going to sound bad when it comes out of my mouth, but I want you to know I'm saying it to be reassuring.
Great.
No one knows you're here.
I think that definitely goes over Professor Mose's head. Professor Mose, she is the most classical, oblivious, ivory tower academic.
Mm-hmm.
The dean, though, I'm not sure if Iguanian's pale, but whatever her reaction is, it's the equivalent of that. And the dean, she says, I will be missed. I am the dean of the university.
Sorry. No. Really, I meant it in a good way. No one knows you're here, meaning you haven't been charged with anything.
Yet.
You currently have a record.
I see.
If you want to get your solicitor involved, there will be paperwork.
So much.
Okay, Viper, give me an impress roll.
Okay.
Oh, don't forget to add how sexy you are.
Oh, yeah. That'll be, I think, just 2. I'm too sexy.
Ooh.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. I'm 3 sexy.
Is that including? We still get
Ingril's bonus?
Ingram's bonus.
No.
She's too
I'll
upset.
Take that back. I'm one sexy.
You're a sexy.
I'm sexy. So add one.
This has just been a roller coaster.
So that'll be a 13 plus 1 appearance bonus.
Okay. The dean, she looks at you and sort of narrows her eyes, and she says, "What do you want?"
Well, we have a friend in mourning. Two extremely hard to dispose of corpses in our care.
And not that hard to explain.
Perhaps the origin is more perplexing than the end point.
Yeah.
Answers primarily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, personally, I'd like to know why my friend is dead, but that's just me.
Well, I know nothing about any sparked at wherever it is that you're speaking of. The only one that
Well, I hate to do this, but we actually never mentioned sparked. We just said that the bodies were hard to get rid of.
Okay,
So...
then that's me misspeaking. That's Austin misspeaking. Okay. Then her response would be, "I have no idea why you are questioning me about your companion's demise."
Well, tell us about the sparked in your basement. Let's start there.
A brief history of Larry.
She like moves towards the entrance of the cell to like stick her head through the doorway and like look down the hall.
I won't stop her.
Yeah. So she looks down the hallways, and I guess V, you're like in the hallway.
I'm still standing out there, yeah.
Yeah. You can tell that like the thought of, oh, what if I just run crosses her mind, but you being out there, and like also the fact that she is inside the keep is a pretty strong deterrent.
I was looking for the bathroom, and I turned around.
Got turned around. I'm sitting on. I've pulled or requisitioned a stool from somewhere, and I'm sitting on that with my lance not fully extended, but just sort of resting in my lap, watching these things.
Okay. So she says, "All right. Well, Larry, as he is commonly called, for we don't know his name, was brought to us in the early days after the god birth. One of the first instances of the sparked that was captured. I'm sure there was other research going on, but us being a neutral space, there was a number of people who were interested in us doing the research ourselves. And so he has been in that room for a number of years."
And you weren't transparent about this research because... being a neutral space and all.
Yes, we have... Exactly. We have no allegiances to anyone outside of the university.
So there's no need for secrets, is there?
I don't see how that follows. Part of the reason we are able to maintain our neutrality, at least in the old days, was because of the fact that we held on to the secret methods for a number of items, such as the firearms in the city. We were able to bargain with other nations to maintain our own sovereignty. secrets are our primary export. Call it an old habit.
Damn, that sounds cool, but it's really inconvenient for us.
What, in all of these years past with all of your research, have you actually learned about these things?
The dean turns to the professor, and Emmos's eyes like light up a little bit because this is her jam.
Someone's gonna read my thesis.
Yeah, like literally the thesis that has been secret for the last like 8 years that she hasn't been allowed to talk to anyone about it with, except for whatever like research assistants she might have. She says, "All right, well, what do you want to know?"
Everything you have to offer.
Well, I don't have all of my papers here, as you can see. Those.
Where do you keep them?
In the room with Larry, of course.
They're in the basement. Actually, you do have them because we took them.
Aha!
Ah, excellent. Bring them here.
I can go fetch them, that's fine.
Okay.
I thought you had. I distinctly remember either me or you grabbed the whole pile.
Okay. Well, I'm
Yeah.
happy just to have them with me then, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you hand over like this stack of tomes, and she somewhat sways under the weight and then drops them on the cot, and is like looking at all of the spines, trying to figure out what volumes are here. And she says, "All right, now what did you want to know?"
Why? How is the spark transmitted? Let's start there.
Death. When a living creature, now living is very broad. You see, it seems to be that anything that is alive can be infected, whether it's a plant or a such as yourselves, and she gestures to you, V, and Viper, or a human, obviously, such as Larry himself. She realizes at that moment, Dorothy, that you are not, in fact, a child. And she says,
What a mouth on her.
And she says, unfortunately, we haven't done any tests on soul vessels, such as yourself, so we can't say whether or not you can be infected.
So you have done tests on other living creatures?
Oh yes, we had to find out. And we've...
You're going to jail forever. So much jail.
Besides the point, let's focus for now on this subject.
I really need those notes, though.
Mm-hmm. I had a different question, but I've forgotten it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did too much.
I know you just got really excited about jails. It's fine.
You were talking about how you get it, and that's death.
Oh, why was Larry big?
Oh, well, the short answer is we don't know why.
Was Larry big before?
You really are a scientist.
Absolutely not.
Did Larry get big over time?
Yes, over the past several years, he's been slowly increasing in volume and mass. You see, we haven't even especially been feeding him insofar as the spark might be fed. You see, when we put subjects in with him and then he attacks them, he doesn't ever consume them, just simply beats them to death or electrocutes them to death, and then shortly thereafter they rise as new sparked, or they do not. It's not completely clear on why some do rise and some do not. Most do, however. according to and she flips open like one of the volumes and like flips through some pages which are like tabbed, and she finds a spot and she says, according to my data here, which I have summarized, it is 95% of those killed by Sparked are converted.
95%, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an astoundingly high infection rate.
You must have a way to dispose of these 95 out of 100 test subjects. What how do you kill them? What is the most effective and efficient way to do so?
Well, our experience has been to drop a large sheet of metal upon them, which either crushes them to death or bisects them.
Wow.
It was part of the study area, you see.
Did it just come like that, or was that custom built for it?
Oh no, you see, we
Guess that was a custom job.
Some say it's a building defect, but I don't.
You see, originally it was very challenging to handle Larry and keep him separated while we were doing tests, and so we were able to build this structure such that his space could be divided into 4 quarters by lowering large metal sheets from the roof. And so we would separate Larry from the test subject and then drop the quartering sheet onto the test subject to end them.
What kind of... Does it matter what kind of metal you drop? No, that's the end of my question.
As far as we have been able to tell, any sort of metal that we've had access to, obviously we don't have access to all metals on the island, but we have been using steel, and we have tested with iron as well, and as far as we can tell, any sort of containment by at least those metals will prevent the electricity from getting out.
From iron and steel.
Yes. The dean says, in short, to kill them, you kill them.
Now, I'm not a scientist, but those seemed like conductive metals.
The professor says, yes, you see, the spark's electricity isn't true electricity in the sense of the variety that you get when you create vinegar and base batteries, you see. It's more similar to the arcane electricities that mages can call upon. But even then, obviously it's not the same, as it can infect people and create sparks from them.
Well, and also we can't do that anymore.
Oh, really?
With the Godbirth, they're all out of juice.
That is fascinating. You see, with the limited amount of people that I could bring into my research, I'm not a mage myself, you see, and so I was not able to speak with any of my arcanely inclined colleagues about this matter.
So the electricity from the spark is the only kind of electricity there is now? I'm asking.
Girlfriend? The only, I suppose it's the only electricity that I've seen powered by a person. Of course, lightning storms, that exists, and there's still batteries out there that I've seen work. But in terms of conjuring the elementals yourself, I haven't yet to meet a mage who can do that now. Really, any sort of weather-based phenomena, we can't really tap into that.
Oh.
whatever it was we were tapping into before. I figure magic and the understanding of magic is a lot like gravity in the science world, where we know what gravity does, but we actually don't know what gravity is.
Right.
That's magic. What it does is shoot cool lightning bolts out of your hands, but not anymore. So I had to get a side gig.
How did they smuggle Larry into the city?
The professor looks at the dean, and the dean says, "Well, you see, he was brought here before the blockade was set up, before really the refugees began arriving at the island. It was not hard. It was not so much smuggled as simply brought here."
I have 3 questions, and feel free to answer them in any order. One is, what do you do with the bodies afterwards? 2 is, where do you get these test subjects, and who are they? And 3, have there ever been any test subjects that you're not sure were dead before you disposed of them?
Well, we dispose of them via incineration, so they are most certainly dead when we do that.
That's not necessarily true. Like, how incinerated are we talking about?
Ashes. Very incinerated.
I mean, the bones would still exist.
Those were crushed.
Okay, I guess that's pretty...
Thorough? Yes,
Pretty
we're
thorough.
academics.
What do you do with the ashes? Oh yeah, Farrell, we're academics. Yeah, you're right. You got him there.
The ashes are kept in jars in the area of study in case they are needed later.
How many jars do you have?
The dean looks at the professor, and she flips through some pages. She flips through some pages, switches to another tome, flips through some more pages, and says, we have 178.
Good grief.
That sounds enough to drown in.
That's... how would one drown in ash? That's a very curious phrase.
So the other 2 questions, please?
I'm sorry, could you repeat those?
Has there ever been any potential experiments that you did not dispose of correctly? And where did you get these test subjects?
We disposed of all of them correctly. And the dean looks at Immose, who nods frantically.
You never left it up for a grad student to do that?
No.
I would never. Child.
And then Immose sort of like looks to the side.
Okay.
Great.
Is that enough for a sense motive roll?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Oh no, I want to do the hard physical labor that I could clearly pass on.
21
Nice.
Hell yeah.
on motive sensing.
Yeah. So
Catch that guilty glance.
yeah. Probably the professor has at some point had a grad student dispose of the sparked corpses, because it takes a while to burn
Mm-hmm.
something to ashes.
Didn't Dorothy find talking to that that finger a couple sessions ago that they had smuggled a spark either into or out of the university recently?
No. The Finger said that they have never smuggled in any
Oh.
sparked. This is
So exactly the opposite of what I
lucky
remember.
moment.
Does anyone other than you have access to that facility?
Who are you addressing that to?
The professor?
Ah. Well, the dean, of course. And then there's the 6 security guards that you met. However, they only have access there when the dean or myself give them the key. And then there are my 2 research assistants, but likewise they only have access when either myself or the dean are there.
Names of these assistants?
Absolutely. Lily Rembrose and Jakaya Markai.
Okay. Definitely adding those to the list of people we need to go talk to.
Were you in contact with the actor that we Pole, right?
Polum?
Polum. Ah. My notes just keep auto-correcting it to Pole. What did Pole look like?
Well, Polum was one of the storm giants who was part of.
Oh, I
the-
thought he was human.
No,
Ooh.
no. He was one of the storm giants. Who was part of the giant embassy. Let me check my notes for what his description is.
I guess it doesn't really matter. But Dorothy asks if they encountered him within the past week. Someone matching his description.
The professor opens her mouth and then closes it,
Do you not write this kind of stuff down?
and she says, "Well, there was." What assurance? The dean elbows her in the ribs and says, "What assurances do we have?"
With regards to...
Our freedom, our safety.
I feel like that's something you should be asking yourself.
Well, I'm asking you. You are the ones who have put us in this cell. You are the ones who have brought us to the Coast Guard's keep. You are the ones who pointedly said that no charges have been laid and there is no trail showing that we are here.
You still haven't answered my third question.
What assurances do we have?
You currently have my assumption that since you were there when Pullum came out of that crate, I don't think it was you who put him in it.
I
But-
didn't want them to know who that person was, but it's okay.
I mean,
I was hoping they thought it was another suspect.
unless they had turned another storm giant in the last week. Pretty obvious for them.
That is correct. I have no desire to have been around a sparked. that is not in containment.
All I want is for you to help us find the person that doesn't want them to be contained.
Give me another impress roll, Viper.
I'm not
Listen.
good at being nice either.
Oh, you do all your talking with your fists.
If you're not guilty, then you have nothing to hide, and it just sort out the truth. And
Lord.
Yeah. So that's an 8 and +1 appearance.
Do you want to spend any action dice?
Oh, is this worth it? Yeah. You know what? They don't do anything if you don't use them. So
good point.
let's see.
All right, roll that d4.
D4.
Oh,
When you do use them,
That's a 1. So that's only a 9. And so the dean says, before I provide any further information, I need concrete assurances for our safety. Perhaps we can move somewhere else that is less. She sort of gestures at the stone walls about her.
How about I make sure that you have something to warm yourself after you tell us the information that we're looking for? Impress. With what's the apparent? And so the incentive is probably maybe extreme because life or death.
Yeah.
Incentive.
That so yeah, I guess at this point she probably is like, do reptiles shiver? Do they have that response? No, I guess
No, they just
she's
slow
getting
down.
sluggish, right? Yeah. So she's when she gestures at the walls around her, it's like very slow, and her arm doesn't quite raise as high as she might desire it to. Yeah. Okay. So what's the bonus for an extreme incentive?
Extreme is +4.
Okay. So you're browbeating her?
Right now I'm impressing her. I could coerce her.
I mean, you're basically saying like if you don't talk to us, I'm gonna let you freeze to death.
But I'm giving her warmth. Yeah, no, you're right. It's I'm browbeating her. So is that no? This would be coerce. So it's against resolve. No, yes. Yeah, because the target performs one action or supports one of the character's actions. So the modifier is only a +2. Yes.
Okay, so roll that intimidate.
And I have, without cast's bonus, it's only 2, +2 for appearance bonus. So 25.
25. Okay. So as per usual, I'm not going to roll resistance rolls and just use a flat DC. Yeah. I think like unconsciously the dean reaches. Who has the brazier?
I guess I do. Otherwise, some nice person of the party would have given it to her already.
Yeah. So, the dean reaches for the brazier like unconsciously when you like remind her that you have it, and then she takes her arms, puts her arm down as you keep it away from her. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I skip back.
She's,
The
"Fine.
deadliest game of keep away.
Fine. ask your questions.
Have you seen a person matching that description within the past week? And where do you get your research subjects?
No, I have not seen someone matching that description. However, it has occurred to me that I have seen that box before.
I'm not. Then I won't be a stickler and point out that you have seen them. Thank you for your cooperation. Please tell me about the box.
This also connects to your other question. Our subjects were acquired through the Hidden Hand. Maybe you know of them. They are.
No, I've never heard of them. Who are they?
They are the island's organized crime syndicate. We had a contact named Decent C, a root walker, and she would bring us people that she wanted to get rid of. It was an excellent arrangement, as we got our subjects, and she was removed of whoever these individuals were, at no cost to either of us. And the professor, solemnly nods, clearly a little bit uncomfortable with the arrangement.
Ooh, yeah, I would hope so. Is that name familiar? Decency.
Could we roll a general knowledge check about that?
Do any of you have any studies related to crime?
Oh.
I would never. No, unfortunately, no.
Yeah,
Does decency mean anything specific in Rootwalker language?
no.
Secret pun.
No, there is no, there is no root walker pun here.
Alright.
So, your subjects were delivered in those types of boxes then?
Generally, yes. None quite like that. And in regards to this past week, Decent made a large donation to the university and requested that she have a small amount of time alone with Larry. She brought one such box. She brought that box that was at the dinner with her. And so we needed the money. We left her alone with Larry for a time, and then when she was finished, we let her out along with the box once again. Larry remained there, and so we didn't ask.
Well, that sucks. But thanks.
That should do it. At least we have an actual lead.
Was decent. I don't suppose decency was mentioned at all in the debt ledgers of the
Salazar?
dead. Yes, him.
No, that was just Hennett Olin had
Mhm.
was the loan shark, Lord Orma Broadwing, and then the Dirt Folk Guild.
Okay. Mhm.
So, now will you be releasing myself, Professor Emos, and our grad students? May I have my brazier back at the least?
That was promised.
It was suggested. Dorothy reluctantly hands over the brazier.
Well, that's good, because if you refuse to give it, she was going to take cold damage, and she's a standard character.
Good.
God.
Maybe she shouldn't be so cold-hearted.
Well, it was almost literal there. So she, like, wraps herself around the brazier and takes the thin blanket off of the cell cot and wraps that around herself as well.
Mhm.
And while she's there, curl up around it, she says, "So, can we go?"
You still did some extremely illegal things, is the thing.
We don't really have the authority to release you.
We're not arrested.
Oh, no, we were lying about that. They know about Larry. The captain of the police is in your basement right now, so... We just haven't filed the paperwork yet. But we'll get right on that. Don't worry.
I think both of them are just like speechless. They don't have a response to that. They can just see their careers and lives falling apart before their eyes.
We'll be taking that research and, well, I would say that I hoped that things turned around for you. I would. And then I'm gonna go to the front desk and be like, hey, I need to fill out some data.
Who's taking the books from the professor?
I can carry them. I've got the arms for it.
I think the question is who's going to take the research from her hands and possibly have to grapple with her for them.
Well, I'm not in the room.
No.
I can be, though.
So you're gonna like squeeze past Viper to try and get these books?
If no one else is grabbing them, then yes.
No, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll kneel down and take off my backpack and put it in front of her and say, look, I'll keep these for you.
I'll read them.
They either go with me or they go into an evidence locker.
And they disappear there.
Give me an impress roll, Viper.
Yeah.
If
I'm
you
gonna roll to assist.
If you keep being the nice one, you're gonna have to keep making those impress rolls.
Alrighty. Oh, it's a whopping 10 this time.
I got a 22 for assisting. I got jazz hands.
Yeah, so unfortunately that'll bring Vipers up to an 11.
Or 12 if you count appearance bonus. Oh, I want someone that sexy reading my work. Noah goes. Noah goes.
She just like clutches the book she's holding to her chest and like stands between herself or puts herself between you and the books on the cot. She says, you can't take my research. I've been working on this for years.
How about... What if we supply you with some paper and pens and you give us a copy of your research so it can be actually useful? Or the only copy can rot in here with you. I'm sure this is perfect archival environment.
Okay, Dorothy, you give me an impress roll.
Fine. 24.
Consistent.
Okay. She says, I haven't been allowed to make copies. Would you disperse my research?
Yes. I'll do a TED Talk. No, sorry.
Is Dorothy being truthful?
I will make sure that everybody knows what you've done. Don't worry.
God damn.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm torn because I think Dorothy has less morals when it comes to research subjects, but people being used in medical research is a rough topic for me. It's a sore spot. I'm just gonna let Dorothy express that a little bit, because why not?
Why not, indeed?
Why not?
She says, all right, well, it will take me a couple of weeks to make the copies. As you can see, there's years of research that need to be spread amongst the people. But if you are able to provide that time and materials for me, then I would be happy to give you a copy.
Great. We'll just cycle out the bit that you're using, that you're copying, as you copy it, and we'll take the rest for now. For safekeeping, this place is disgusting.
I suppose that's reasonable. And she looks at like the 4 tomes and says, I guess I'll start at the beginning, and like shoves the stack of 3 tomes towards you, Viper.
Into the sack.
Keep it safe, right in the sack next to the peanut butter.
Mm. Let it go. I don't even remember what all else I have in there.
I don't think Viper knows either.
Good stuff.
Chalk. I've got some rations. Oh, there is peanut butter. All right. We'll add sparked research notes to my inventory.
Let's see, how heavy are those gonna be? It's probably 15 pounds.
Hefty.
Yeah, they are like textbooks. Years of research.
Okay. Okay. Team huddle in the hallway.
Yeah. I like it because they pick me up to do the huddles.
It's hard to whisper otherwise. Okay, so what do we do now?
I think that I should go and talk to Page End because I have a working deal with them, and they also wanted information about who is being sparked into the city, so I can trade information for information about decency. It's decency, right?
Yeah, decent C.
Yeah.
That sounds reasonable to me.
Well, I would like to go and see the 2 grad students mentioned. would you like company on that, Dorothy, or
Are the grad students the ones that are also the guards? Or were there those other two that also have access to the Sparked?
There's the 6 guard students, and there's 2 research students.
Okay. Well, talking to Heijen probably will be pretty quick. I can meet up with you guys. Where should we look for where should we look for the grad students?
no? I suppose we'll start at the campus and work our way out.
Okay.
I turn around from the huddle. Hey, Prof, where are your 2 researchers?
Oh yeah.
Oh, they're probably, where would they be? Probably somewhere in the, physics labs, I would imagine, working on their own theses.
Thank you. Maybe we should start in the physics labs.
A fine idea. Wherever did you pick that up?
Okay. Sounds good. I'm gonna take Foxglove with me, I think.
They seem to like you the best. So that makes sense.
Well, I was just wondering if I should leave them with you, just so that we have a bit of a connection. But I think I can find you easily enough without having to resort to shenanigans.
Just look for Gentleman Moose. We'll be nearby.
Absolutely, I'm always looking for gentleman youths.
Brilliant.
Alright. So, the 3 of you are leaving and going your separate ways at this time?
Yeah.
I'll let the other 2 leave ahead of me and linger for just a moment. Just a bit of metagame talk here. Do you mind if I go rogue and sort of make a unilateral party decision here?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
After the other 2 leave, I linger for a moment and I look at the dean and say, "You have a few options. When the captain returns, you'll be charged and almost surely summarily executed. You can get out of the city, or you can come to the giant embassy in secret." And then I say, "Oops," and drop the keys outside their cell.
The
Great.
dean.
And walk out.
Okay. The dean and the professor definitely look at each other, but they haven't said anything. Okay, I'm gonna have to put that in my notes.
Time to forget about that.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
All right, I'll have to put some thought about what they decide to do.
Yeah. Fuck the police.
Yes.
They're experimenting on human subjects.
That's fair.
Not
But
willing
also-
subjects.
Okay. So the 3 of you leave the keep, and as you pass beyond the walls, or as you leave the keep, it's now getting towards evening. You can see, like, the sun is setting in the west, and the sky is turning that lovely blue, purple, black of the night to the east. but there is an orange glow to the east as well. And you can
Burn
hear
the rich.
you can hear shouts of the merchant quarter is burning.
Oh, that's probably bad.
Not super good, no.
No. So we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put us on the break screen, and we will be back in about 5 minutes. See y'all then.